Hello and welcome to the Consistory of the Coelc YouTube channel. I'm your host for this video, Reverend Zabel of St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church located in Dalby, Queensland, Australia. In this video, we're going to be continuing my mini-series on angelology, but I'm going to be doing this by going through my book, Choirs of Angels, a brief study on the kinds of angels. If anyone would like to buy a copy of that, just head over to lulu.com, search my name or search the title of the book, and you'll be able to find the book there. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing the topic of guardian angels. In my previous video, I discussed the choir of angels known as watchers and the many possible theories as to what these angels are. And at the end of that, I discussed one possible theory that the watchers were guardian angels and that the watcher mentioned in the book of Daniel was the guardian angel of King Nebuchadnezzar. So let's discuss then the biblical understanding of guardian angels, because many people may think that guardian angels do not come from scripture, but in fact they do come from scripture, and even Lutherans have historically taught that guardian angels are a real thing. The main scriptural verses to look at are Matthew 18:10, in which Jesus says that the little ones have their own angels looking after them, and also Acts 12:15, which refers to Saint Peter having his own personal angel. Saint Jerome taught that each soul has from his birth an angel commissioned to guard him, and Martin Luther said regarding the topic of guardian angels, "Dear child, you have your own angel. When you pray in the morning or in the evening, that angel will be with you, will nurse you, will rock you and protect you from the evil one, the devil, so that he cannot get to you." So the Bible does teach that there are individual angels that are assigned to individual humans, and that each human has their own personal guardian. And Martin Luther, and thus the Lutheran tradition, teaches that there are guardian angels and that each person has their own angel assigned by God to look after them. So what I've just discussed there comes from my children's book, Choir of Angels, where I have a brief section on guardian angels for kids to learn about. I did discuss this topic at length in my other book, A Choir of Angels, a brief study on the kinds of angels. Here I go into a more in-depth discussion on guardian angels. For the Bible teaches that each human does have their own guardian angel. In Matthew 18:10, Jesus says, "See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that in heaven their angels always see the face of my Father who is in heaven." Here Jesus does not say the angels, but their angels, referring to the angels that look after these little ones. Again in Acts 12:15, the servant girl Rhonda heard St. Peter at the door, who had been released from prison. But the others did not believe it was Peter, and they said, "It is Peter's angel." They did not say it was Peter's spirit, as in Peter's ghost, but that it was Peter's angel, as in an angelic being assigned to look after Peter. There was some belief in the early church that our guardian angels could take on a form to look like us, to help us through things, but again, that's just speculation of the early church. As I mentioned before, Saint Jerome taught that each soul has their own angel commissioned from the point of birth, or although I'd add the point of conception, because life begins not at birth but at conception. So if God is assigning angels to look after my soul, I believe God would assign that from conception onwards, not from birth onwards, but that's semantics between me and Jerome. Concerning guardian angels, Luther did believe in guardian angels, and I read to you briefly there before, but I'll read to you the entire quote from Martin Luther. Luther says, "I should train a child from his earliest youth that I should say to him, 'Dear child, you have your own angel. When you pray in the morning or in the evening, that angel will be with you, will nurse you, will rock you, and protect you so that the evil one, the devil, cannot get to you. Also, when you cheerfully say the Benedicite and the Gratias at table, your angel will be with you at the table, will serve you, protect you, and watch you, that no evil will strike you, and that the food will agree well with you. If one would picture this to the children, they would learn from their youth and become used to it that the angels are with them, and that would serve not only for this purpose that the child will rely upon the protection of angels, but also that they would become chaste and learn to dread the evil when they are alone, that they would think, though our parents are not with us, yet the angels are here. they look upon us, that the evil spirit may show us no malice. This may be a childish sermon, but still good and necessary, and so necessary and also childish that it serves us adults also. For the angels are not only with the children, but also with us elder folk. So that's actually an important comment from Luther, because Jesus in Matthew 18 just refers to the angels that look after the little ones, although Acts 12 mentions an angel that looks after the grown man Peter. And Luther talks about this, saying that the angels don't just look after children, but even us grown adults. So we don't lose our guardian angel once we get older. Our guardian angel is with us from the point of conception to death. What happens to these angels after we die? Who knows? Maybe they go to look after somebody else. Or maybe because there's so many angels around, maybe these angels will continue to look after us and follow us into heaven. And so when I get to heaven, I can talk face to face with my guardian angel. Who knows? That's all speculation. But the Bible does teach that guardian angels do exist, and that each human has their own guardian angels whose responsibility it is to protect us from the evil one and to point us towards God. So yeah, that answers the question on guardian angels. And join me again next time as I continue this mini-series on angelology by discussing angelic horses.